Now, to my knowledge, this has nothing to do with Eric Adams, but it seemed an appropriate place to start a video talking about the stupidest mayor ever, having his stupidest press conference ever. I don't know if people saw this. I think it was this morning or maybe yesterday, I don't know. I was watching Sal Greco. He is great. If people want information about NYPD, there's three guys that I watch. It's Sal Greco, John McCarty, and Eric Din. They have a show together called The Finest Unfiltered Podcast, and then Sal is just The Sal Greco, The Sal Greco Show. I think on Twitter he's at The Sal Greco, but his show is The Sal Greco Show. Anyway, the point is he had this Eric Adams press conference, and I agree with what Sal was saying, but there was a bit more that I wanted to kind of point people to. The purpose of the press conference was for Eric Adams to basically hold up the New York Times and tell everybody that, oh, it looks like Donald Trump and Joe Biden agree that the Justice Department is weaponized. So poor innocent Eric Adams, he's just a victim of this weaponized justice that Donald Trump has been talking about. This was such an obvious, Eric Adams is like dealing with a child in terms of his ability to lie to you. First of all, he appears nervous to me and he's giggling and laughing. He was asked a quite difficult question by a journalist. Not difficult to know the answer, but difficult because he wanted to lie about it. Because the other thing is, in addition to trying to tie himself to Donald Trump to get a pardon or whatever he's trying to do, he's just now 180 degrees changed his policy where he's decided that he wants to deport migrants that are doing crime. We've spent 4 years having the cops get shot and beat up and then releasing these idiots, or I think the official policy was previously they were, letting everybody have a trial, and then the outcome of the trial was, you got to let the judge decide if you were going to be deported. And so he was questioned by a journalist after he said, okay, we have this change of policy, we're going to deport people who are doing crime. He was asked, well, why are you innocent until proven guilty and these migrants are just going to be deported right away without a trial? And he gave a really poor answer. He said that because he's an American. It's not a poor answer, actually. I agree with that answer. I don't think you should just be able to step onto American soil and have all the protections of an American citizen. You're just visiting here. Everybody else is paying taxes and, doing all the things you need to do to make this a country. And particularly if you've broken the law to come here and you're taking things from us. They said in this press conference that New York City has spent $6 billion on migrants. And so this is the stupidest part, is that Eric Adams went full MAGA. He's saying, he wants to deport everybody, and he also has now appointed himself a part of the Doge. He said, oh, we're wasting taxpayers' money. And I'm thinking, no, Dick, you're stealing it. Yes, you are wasting it, but it's just such a disingenuous press conference from Eric Adams. And so the other thing is he referenced his lawyer because they kept asking him questions about the case. And he's like, oh, well, my lawyer said I can't say anything. Ha, ha, ha. And he's talking about his lawyer, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. Yeah, it's, this is Alex Spiro that he's talking about, who is Elon Musk's lawyer. And it takes me back to that odd encounter, I thought, at the MMA fight, the UFC fight with when Donald Trump showed up with Elon Musk, and then boom, there's Eric Adams. Oh, isn't that? Well, I didn't know you would be here. That's like in, when Eddie Murphy is in the barber shop, and the guy's like, I ran into Martin Luther the King. I bumped into him in the street. I said, I thought you were somebody else. It's such a stupid story. But that's exactly what Eric Adams was doing. He was an idiot character from an Eddie Murphy movie giving a press conference. He should have put that Jerry curl stuff in his hair and sing Sexual Chocolate and throw down the microphone and everything. I've never seen a more idiotic press conference than that. Eric Adams appears to be so guilty, not only of what he's been indicted for. See, because everybody is into these pardons now, right? He's showing What Eric Adams is showing is the newspaper talking about Hunter Biden getting pardoned. I don't think I can talk about this enough. That violated the Constitution. Joe Biden can't do that. The president is not the king of the world. He still is bound by the Constitution. The president cannot, it's been said, walk outside of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and select a random pedestrian and murder them and be like, oh, I'm pardoned. I don't think you could do that. It's got to be stuff that you're doing in the context of being the president. Okay, so fine, that Joe Biden is safe, but there is one exception to the presidential pardon power, and that is matters of impeachment. We just simply cannot forget about this photograph of Joe Biden. Do I zoom in this one? Yeah, that's Kenneth Rakoshev, 2014, February 5th. Joe Biden with Hunter Biden, right there with Kenneth Rakoshev. Okay, so Rakoshev is accused of all kinds of insane crimes. And by the way, that's not some picture I got from 4chan. That's in James Comer's report from the impeachment investigation. So wait a minute. If the presidential pardon is only accepted in matters of impeachment, well, what the hell is this? Joe Biden, that's a good dog. He's curious about this. The dog was really looking at it. Good boy. Joe Biden is a co-conspirator in this crime, I'm sad to say. I'm not sad to say. It's just a fact. It's sad for Joe Biden, but there he is with the co-conspirators. So that guy, even just the email going back and forth between Hunter and Kenneth Rakoshev is like, he's like, well, I don't know, John Kerry could go visit you if we're doing business. And then he sends him the exact purchase amount of the Porsche. That amount, Rakoshev sends Hunter to Rosemont Seneca or something like that. Then the money goes right to Porsche, and Hunter gets that turbo 911 that he drives 172 miles an hour. I don't understand how that guy's like an expert crack smoker. Just seems to me like he would crash. Hey, I really like those shoes.
Everybody loves a shoe.
Hard to be popular, I guess. It's funny. Well, I mean, this is fall in New York. Welcome to it. It's a little cold right now, to tell you the truth, but I like this. It's nice. And also, as I said, the maniacs don't really like the cold. This reminds me of my childhood, just leaves on the ground. Because I guess, I don't know, you were going to school and kind of, you know, recess and playing in the yard and the woods and stuff. But anyway, I'm feeling very overwhelmed by this, because how could I be the only person discussing this? Where the hell is Jonathan Turley? Where the hell is Dersh? Where the hell is... There's some other people who aren't, you know, crazy, who are constitutional. Greg Jarrett is pretty level-headed, I think, usually on Fox. He has good... Why aren't these people talking about this? Everyone's like, oh, Joe Biden lied. Said he wasn't going to pardon it. Well, so what? Obviously. I mean, did you not... That's like Hunter Biden saying, I won't smoke crack. And then you see him at the White House. Hey, Pops, how you doing? It's like, of course he's going to do it. But anyway, what else did that idiot Eric Adams say in the press conference? I mean, it just seems obvious to me. He's saying he's going to have a meeting with Tom Homan. Because what Homan said was, look, the federal law supersedes the city. You can't fight the federal, U.S. Customs and Border Protection trying to enforce the law because you say you're a sanctuary city. I mean, that's the thing. Eric Adams has been saying, first of all, when he ran, he said that. And didn't he say that New York City's position is that the border needs to remain open? He's just got a total 180 flip here. And by the way, if he were serious about getting involved with Doge, I mean, he knows Donald Trump is going to be there. Why doesn't he walk up to Elon Musk? I mean, they have the same attorney. I mean, when I was in LA, attorneys love to introduce their clients to each other. It's like, oh wow, you're doing 3D. I've got a client who's a director. We should have lunch. And that's like LA lawyers. So there's no reason to not have Elon Musk and Eric Adams talk. And if Eric Adams is there, and here we are, what is it, a week ago that happened? And he's saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna Doge. Why didn't he go shake Elon Musk's hand? He's talking about his lawyer in this press conference. He's talking about Doge. All this stuff is going around. What the hell is going on with Eric Adams? I want to know. I have to reiterate this. I don't know if people have really fully absorbed. I don't even know if I have. But remember, when I first sued the city of New York and Twitter and the NYPD and Elon Musk, that's cool, huh? That's imaginary fire that you can sit around. I like that though. Nice artwork here at the foot of the Flatiron building getting renovated. Hey, there's a crazy story about that. Somebody tried to steal that building at auction. I don't know who did it, but I saw a YouTube video about that. It was quite interesting. I've probably mentioned this, but I've been up to, the very edge there. It's not an observation deck or anything. You're just out there on a raw roof. But we were shooting something for Spider-Man. Is somebody up there right now? Maybe it's just a statue. Statue of limitations. Yeah, so this phone that was smashed by an asshole has been fixed by Apple. Oops. It's just statues that we're looking at up there. And also we have a new gimbal. So, oh yeah, I wanted to address the possibility, if anybody had noticed some jitteriness yesterday. This is a new gimbal. Some things were broken in that encounter. And I don't know, they've added some stupid mode that it starts in. Everybody's adding things that make their products worse, because I guess we have this culture now where you need a new version every year. So you throw away the gimbal number 5 and get the gimbal number 6. No difference. But I did get it on Black Friday sale, so it was pretty cheap. Yeah, Eric Adams, he's cozying up to Trump. I really hope that Trump doesn't do anything with Eric Adams other than have him be investigated and indicted. The bigger deal is what Eric Adams has been doing with all these NGOs. What the hell is going on at the Walcott Hotel? I mean, he's just suddenly flipped the script on paying $6 billion. You know what? Almost more than the crime. That makes me want to leave. I just got fleeced. I paid my taxes. This was a disaster too. Yeah, I wanted to put this out here. So, for many, many years, when I was running 21st Century 3D, there were times that I had, I think the maximum was 7 or 9, I can't even remember, but there were employees, some in New York, some in LA. I was paying taxes in California, I was paying taxes in New York, I was paying corporate tax, I was paying personal tax, and I was like, oh. So, and also I had money then, so I just hired years ago, 15, 20 years ago, this pretty, I'm not gonna say the name of it, but fancy and pretty expensive New York City accounting firm, and they just did all my taxes. It was always great. It was a little expensive, but I didn't care. I had money, they took care of it or whatever. And 2023, my accountant and I had a conversation because, those companies are all closed and those employees are all not around anymore, and I don't live in or pay taxes in California anymore, so my tax situation has gotten much less complicated. And 2022, we had a little bit of an argument about the bill. Not an argument, but I said that it's getting too expensive, and he kind of got upset. And I had to say, I'm not saying I'm unhappy with the work. I'm just saying I can't afford it anymore. So 2023, he and I had a conversation and mutually decided that it really didn't make sense for the amount of money that I'm making now and the type of stuff that I'm doing now to continue with their, oh, that thing is gone. It's not here for very long. Anyway, long story short, we amicably parted ways with the accounting firm. And the last bill I paid to them was much, much lower. And he said all he's going to do is file an extension and, go get H&R Block or something or TurboTax and do it on the late deadline, October 15th. So that's what I did. And I paid a huge amount. To me, maybe not to other people, but... And then That's federal. And then also New York City. I couldn't believe it. Whatever you paid in federal, what I paid in federal, 1/3 of that again to New York City. And then Eric Adams is just, giving it to migrant criminals. See this? All this Fifth Avenue out of business? So anyway, long story short, got a letter from the IRS the other day. Oh, you owe us all this money for penalties and late fees. So it's like another 10% of everything that I had just paid again. Now here's the reason why I'm telling everybody about this. I need to go back and check when this started, but it might have been around April. Georgia's mentally ill, psychopath, wife-swapping fucking asshole brother started sending out letters. I'll check the letters. I think it was in letters. What the fuck are you doing, man? Fucking idiot. Started sending out letters alleging that I was a tax cheat. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? I've never had any problem whatsoever with taxes, pay it all the time. Did he somehow know that this problem existed? Because I didn't know until the IRS sent me the letter. I resolved it right away. It's already been paid. I even spoke to them on the phone. There's like, because there's this offers thing where you can be like, how about $1? And they're like, no. But I did speak to them and went through this whole thing. And it's basically, I think if you're in bankruptcy, I think what it is they're figuring out if it's going to cost them more money to get the money you owe them, then they let you not pay it. But after half an hour wasting time with them, they said, no, you have to pay it. And I said, Hunter Biden, he's running around smoking crack, not paying millions of dollars. The problem really is, it's like instead of me having money to go, buy new equipment or move to another city and generate work for people doing whatever in that other city and moving companies, and when you spend money, it's like moving fuel through the engine of the economy. And when you're just constantly paying everything that you earn to the government so that they can funnel it into Ukraine and Eric Adams' pocket, it gets me upset. So I got to get the hell out of here to some place that isn't stealing all of my money and giving it to criminals who are trying to beat me up and destroy my equipment. I'm a little annoyed about that. Also, just everything is going out of business. So New York is just, it's not what it was in the 90s. It's really sad, actually. I mean, the whole world has changed, obviously. I guess this is old man crap to lament that, but getting old. Yeah, so Eric Adams, I really hope Donald Trump gets the message. I mean, he does seem to be fairly responsive in that, people didn't like that, who was it that he had hired? That was DEA. He had some woke douche that he was going to put into DEA. No, there's nothing to be done with Eric Adams except to put him in jail. Forgive me, put him on trial. But it's just so clear. The evidence is so clear. He's with Caban, that Con Sofrito restaurant, and we really need to get to the bottom of what is going on in these hotels. There's a lot of evidence around that Walcott Hotel, and none of it looks like innocent, normal behavior. It looks like Tren de Aragua popping babies out of that hotel. Now, let's think about this for a second, because you see somebody, handing out or selling a baby, and a normal person is shocked by that because it's just so evil and amoral. It's unbelievable. But let's think about it for a second, because I've looked at that hotel a bit, and there's a lot of young women with baby strollers coming out of there. Now, maybe they are excellent people who just want to move to the United States and have a baby and make a great life. Or maybe they found out, I'm going to get another one of those free Eric Adams credit cards if I start squirting out kids. Plus, I can make money as a hooker. And because I don't care about these kids or who I have sex with or whatever, you could just create like a baby factory. And we've been hearing that they're having all these prostitution rings, not in the Walcott Hotel, but I don't know. I don't have any evidence that is what's happening. But where are these babies come from? That looked like a pretty brand new 1 or 2 year old baby, and some of these people have now been here for 3 or 4 years. I don't know what's going on, but remember, when I tried to get the police involved, it became a big problem. So I don't think Donald Trump understands exactly what Eric Adams has done to damage the city or the depth of the crimes that he appears to be involved in based on this evidence that I've seen. But there's no place for Eric Adams in the government of this city, in the cabinet of Donald Trump. There is a place for him in jail. I hope Donald Trump doesn't forget. Seems like not that long ago that Eric Adams was going on television and saying he's going to get Rikers Island ready for Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump should tell Eric Adams, keep that room for yourself, schmuck, because that's where you're going. It's brazen. I want to find out what's going on with Alex Spiro. See, all of this, it causes me to believe that there's something quite big that we don't yet know, or many things quite big that we don't yet know. Elon Musk avoiding the Twitter coup information. And speaking of hookers, people got upset that I said that Mindy is a wannabe hooker. So that's fine, you can get upset. No one is going to like every single thing I say or do. I don't want to upset people, but I also don't want people to tell me what they want me to say. Don't do that. If you don't like what I say, either deal with that, or if it's so objectionable, stop watching. But don't tell me to behave in the way that you would behave. Because first of all, a wannabe hooker, I mean, if Mindy thinks that's actionable, she should go ahead and do something about it. She's just upset that I told her that I'm going to sue her. Now, I'm not going to describe the details or the causes of action that I have in mind, but she'll find out when she gets served. And we'll see if what I said is what she thinks it was. I don't think it was. But again, I don't want to go into the details of why that is happening, but I've been blocked on X again. Yeah, I don't want to go into the details of, did we freeze? No, we're back. The $1 pizza place running a Stingray over there. Oh my God, the cookie place. People are already, you know what it is, school lets out. And the cookies, people go crazy with the cookies. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a schedule. The other reason why I don't want to come out, I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, a little bit of a scheduling thing happening. We may not see Charles tonight, but he'll be back on Sunday. I think people, if you saw the other day the show with Charles, he's moved into his apartment now, and so there's all kinds of, I don't know what you would call it, construction or installing the furniture or whatever, but every day there's a different, some kind of chair or carpet, or I don't know. He's got all kinds of various things that he's dealing with. But you know what's funny is that people used to say to me, like, when Charles was in New York and would infrequently appear in his apartment, which he didn't like to do, partially I think because his father was there and he didn't want to, if anything happened and he wanted to tend to his father, he didn't want to have to do that. But people are like, why is Charles's apartment look so crappy? I thought he's rich. I think people who aren't from New York don't understand about rent control. There are super rich people like Charles who are like old New York families who have these rent control. Like Charles might have paid $400 a month for a 3-bedroom apartment. Maybe not that low, but like could be $1,000. I don't know. Something crazy, crazy low. And it's got to do with like whoever is in it dies, leaves it to the next of, there's a whole thing how that works, and you need a pretty big family, and not everybody, I've known people who have had that, and you're like, why the hell is this rich person in this old crappy looking building? And the reason is they have a sprawling apartment that's like $20. And something I've learned about rich people by not being one is that you gotta save money. But anyway, just wanted to get that out, let everybody know what the stupidest mayor in history is up to. He just might as well put on his orange lipstick and get ready to kiss the buttocks But Donald Trump should shine him off and tell him to piss up a rope. Eric Adams is an idiot who has destroyed this city. It was the 1-2 punch. He hit it in the nuts on the way down after de Blasio. This is a terrible plumbing company. I don't like them at all. But thanks for watching, everybody. Please become a sponsor on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, or subscribestar.com, or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I'm gonna, I think, reestablish another X account while I'm working on suing Mindy and X to get that X account back. Mindy doesn't know all the history. Mindy doesn't know what is and isn't actionable in terms of lawsuits. And Mindy is going to be spending a lot of money to learn some very hard lessons. She still has time, because if X does not grant my appeal before I write this lawsuit, Mindy still has an opportunity to withdraw her complaint. I'd rather not waste my time suing her stupid ass, but she's forcing me to. Have a nice day, everybody.